I'm your host, Brenda Close.
And I'm your co-host, Kaili Smalley.
And this is our podcast,
Treasuring Education.
Welcome again to another episode of Bridging the Parent Gap for Educators.
Before we begin today, we thought it would be helpful to review what we've already discussed in this series.
Great idea. Well, back in the first episode, Welcoming Campaign, we discussed what meaningful engagement is and the importance of starting the year with warmth and transparency. We also noted that those welcoming letters and calls home are most effective when they're warm and include a call to action.
And in Resources for Parents, we listed the many things that parents should have access to when we are truly transparent. We encouraged educators to share regular windows into their classrooms.
That's right. We want to think of school as a glass house. In our third episode, Engaging with Parents, we focused on those calls to action, positivity, and thinking about our empathy by considering our own and our students' parents' internal maps of reality. Plus, we talked about ways to respond to a variety of parent reactions to news about their children.
And in our previous episode, Partnering with Parents, we touched on active listening, reflective listening, and mirroring verbal communication, which brings us to today. We will continue this ever-present topic of communication by looking at building rapport and understanding metaprogramming. The key to building strong connections starts with making others feel comfortable during communication. One powerful yet easy way to build rapport is through mirroring nonverbal cues. Think about it as a dance of empathy.
That's right. Imagine your communication partner as a dance partner, and you're following their lead. You mirror their nonverbal cues, creating a sense of familiarity and ease. This is true whether it's on the phone, in video conferencing, just as it is in person.
Exactly. Let's break it down. There are 4 areas to focus on: distance, voice, senses, and energy. First, distance. Are they leaning in, eager to engage, or maintaining some space? Observe and adjust accordingly.
And then there's the voice. Are they speaking quickly or slowly, using a high or a low pitch? And pauses? Match their rhythm to establish a connection.
Senses are crucial too. Listen for sensory words they use. Do they talk about visualizing? I see. Hearing? I hear you. Or feeling things? I feel like. Incorporate these words into your responses to create that sense of unity.
And don't forget about energy levels. Some people use expressive gestures and facial expressions, where others are much more reserved. Reflecting their energy level helps them feel understood.
Now let's translate this specifically into the virtual realm that's such a big part of our lives now. In our digital age, communication often happens through screens. Take Zoom meetings, for example.
Right. Adjusting your approach for virtual communication is just as important. For instance, your camera distance matters. Experiment with standing or tilting your screen to mirror your partner's comfort level. Are you centered on the screen like they are, or should you off-center yourself to match them? You might think of this as subtle, but positioning in virtual mirroring is actually quite powerful, just as it is in face-to-face communication.
What about those who choose to have their cameras off completely? How would you mirror them?
That's a fair question. Just because a parent leaves their camera off for virtual meetings does not give you the green light to leave yours off. Remember, as educators, we're coming from the position of transparency, but parents might not yet be in a place where they're comfortable sharing their worlds with you. Or it may just be a matter of convenience for them at that point in time.
So then how do we mirror them?
Well, we use all the things we've talked about before. The active listening, the mirroring, verbal communication, all those things are very important.
Pauses are also golden online. Give people ample time to respond. This is going to look different than the in-person because people are uncomfortable with silences of longer than 3 seconds. See?
Yeah, that was not comfortable at all.
But online, we have those lags where we need that extra space, even though it might feel uncomfortable.
And also, bandwidth might come into play for lag within the technology itself.
So again, give people ample time to respond and remember those sensory cues. They work wonders in virtual spaces too.
Right.
And if your background is too busy, a virtual background can help maintain their focus.
Energy level is also relevant here too. Some people are more expressive online, while others are much more subdued. Observe and adjust your energy to create an atmosphere of connection.
Let's switch gears a bit and delve into metaprogramming. This is the fascinating concept of how our brains are wired for thought and communication. It's essentially the way that our brains are wired to react and process the events and information that we take in. These metaprograms determine our responses. That root, meta, that means that we're aware of and adjusting as we process.
Right, metaprogramming is such a fascinating science to me. It's like the operating system of our communication style. And just like handedness, I'm left-handed, it's inherent and unique to each of us and very difficult to change, if you can really even change it at all. Awareness of our own metaprogramming is the first step. Then, learning to adjust our communication to match others' metaprogramming takes rapport to an entirely different level.
Right. So you also mentioned you can't change your handedness, but can we change our metaprogramming?
We cannot change our metaprogramming, but we can change how we respond to others based on theirs. It takes a lot of work, but boy, it's super effective.
Metaprogramming includes factors like what motivates us, how we make decisions, and how we sort and process information.
It's like unlocking the secret code to better understanding. In the accompanying video, we'll share some very interesting details and strategies to use our knowledge of metaprogramming to improve that feeling of connectedness.
Now let's talk about applying all this knowledge to real-life scenarios.
It's all about identifying and adjusting. We have a cheat sheet to help you determine your own and others' communication style. When using it, just be transparent about your intentions. Compare your styles and find areas for adjustment.
And remember, these techniques extend beyond the classroom. They can improve your interactions with parents, colleagues, administrators, and even beyond your professional life. These tips are not something learned overnight, and you know what they say, practice makes better.
Yes, it does. And by the way, you can get that handout in the description below. It's linked. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Bridging the Parent Gap for Educators. We do hope that you've learned some new things about communication, rapport building, and metaprogramming.
Thank you for joining us. In our next and last episode in this series for educators, we'll talk about the technologies we use.
See you then. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform to get notifications of our next podcasts. And sign up for our newsletter at www.treasuringeducation.com.